guys, Whitney from WSS Equestrian. Welcome to my video on what gear or what saddlery do you need to start showing a horse here in Australia. Thank you very much to Lucia for reaching out to me on Instagram at WSS Equestrian and sending me a PM, a private message, asking, hey, can you please tell me what do we need when we're starting out in showing gear wise. So today we're just going to do a quick run through on my recommended items you must have when you're starting off showing. So for starters, let's look at the pads. This is one of two options that you have when it comes to showing a horse here in Australia. This is like when you're in the open and hunter rings. You've got these two styles of saddle pads to choose from. It's different when you're in a breeds class or an association like ANSA Association. They have their own individual navy and red saddlecloth with their logo on it, and you would work to ride in that class. You need that saddlecloth, if that makes sense. But to just get started in the show ring, I highly recommend you choose one of the two pads. These are very popular at the moment. These are the full numnahs, and then this is the half numnah. So let's have a look at the half numnah first. So this is a sheepskin half numnah made by the Rug Rack. I love this saddle pad. This is what, when I'm showing my black show horse Teddy, this is what I ride him in, this sheepskin numnah that is a half pad. What it looks like. So it's a great pad to use. I've had this since 2014. The Rug Rack, beautiful lady there that runs that business, yeah, they're just impeccable, beautifully made products, and I just can't fault them, if that makes sense. So this is almost 10 years old, this pad. But when I first started off showing, before I got that half pad, I was showing Teddy in this, and sometimes here and there I'll still show him in this, depending how we're going, the weather, and how I'm feeling. So this is a full numnah. It is padded. It is a Roma brand. I got it from Horseland. I brought this from Horseland years ago. Again, I've had this for almost 10 years as well. And yeah, I think the more padding, so this just outlines the saddle and the saddle's on top of this, and the fleece is just the edge of the saddle. When it comes to choosing the colours of these, again, it's all optical illusion. How you stand out in the show ring, what your point of difference is. A lot of people will say match this to your tack or in the horse. So Teddy's a black horse, I have black tack on him, and he has a black numnah. If I was in a field and there was a lot of other black horses, I would race back to my horse. So I have a spare one of these numnahs. I used to show in the white numnah. But I would race back to my horse float and I would swap out the black numnah to the white numnah just to be that point of difference, to help stand out in the crowd and help the judge remember who I am, if that makes sense. If there's a lot of dark horses that I'm competing against, again, it's all psychology and optical illusion. That is a big part of showing horses. So these are your two options. I'm just going to hold the saddle. It's raining at the moment. Can't hear them. So I just want to hold this here so you can see that. Can you see how, not the best example, but can you see how it sort of outlines the saddle here, if that makes sense? So that is what you're aiming for with your numnah, to just outline subtly the saddle, but you still got a saddlecloth underneath the saddle. So with that being said, let's jump straight into the saddle. This saddle here is an old Bates saddle. I'm a Bates person. All my saddles are Bates, or I've got Wintec, but that's in the non-leather range, if that makes sense. So that's just my personal preference. I'm just a Bates lover. Like my mum's Bates saddle was, yeah, apart from stock saddles, mum's saddle was a Bates, her little dressage saddle, it was a Bates saddle, and they work for me and they work for my horses, and that's where I'm at in life. So I think this is a Bates Caprilli saddle. It's a much older version. So this is a brown leather saddle. This is Shrek's show saddle. I've got two of these actually, so I think I've got two saddles for him. So all you need is stirrup leathers, obviously a girth. The girth is up to you. You can have a white girth. Years ago when I first started showing, again, I was using just a white girth, a Wintec one from my local saddlery. And then I moved on in recent years to the White Horse Equestrian black leather for Teddy's show saddle, a leather girth. So at the end of the day, it's all optical illusion, what looks neat and tidy when you present your horse in the show ring, and what will help you be memorable to the judge, to stand out and stick in their mind, if that makes sense. So when you're showing, you need you need a dressage saddle that's straight down here, not the all-purpose saddle where it pokes out here for your knees when you're jumping and whatnot. So this is the saddle that you need when you're competing in the show ring, a dressage style saddle. Nothing else, no swing. Depends, but again, if you're in a stock horse ring, it's a bit different. Then you've got to wear the attire for the stock horse or the breed, if that makes sense. So fenders or stock saddles, you've got to go in that direction. But when you're doing open hacks and show hunters, these are the saddles you aim for in using. So yeah, you want neat and tidy. You don't want scratches, bite marks. You don't want damage on your shoe. Like, it happens, and it depends on your budget and what you can afford. But if you're aiming for royal level showing, you need to have neat and tidy tack that is not damaged. So you need stirrups, stirrup leathers, and the saddle, and a girth, and also a number holder. So let's have a quick look at what a number holder is. So this is my White Horse Equestrian number holder. See the nice big numbers. This bit here goes through the girth, and then up here this bit loops over the neck of the horse. And you've got to put your number in that the show society provides you when you're at big shows. So yes, that's what a number holder looks like. I haven't got it with me right here. It's at home in the shed. That's why I just panning that shot just then. So a number holder is for royal shows. Some ag shows, some breed shows might, recommend them. But, the number holder is to identify you in the ring with a number that is clearly presented, that the judge can go, okay, mark that one down, pencil that one. It helps when there's a large, like particularly at royal shows, when there's a large amount of horses, the judge has got to be quick and make a decisions and not get confused. Oh, was it that brown horse? Was it? No, it was that number and this number and that number. Does that make sense? So that is a very important object that you should have for those that are aiming to head into the royal showing. Okay, now that the saddle and the saddle pad has been discussed, let's talk about our bridle options. So this here is a snaffle bridle. It has one set of reins, flat noseband. This is for open show horses. So this is a blingy brow band. Hunter horses, you don't have the blingy brow band. It is the plain leather. You can get plaited leather brow bands, but more often than not, you need the same leather brow band that you get on your bridle and that matches the noseband, if that makes sense. You can change them out though. So that is what your bridle options are when you're first getting started in a horse showing scene, and then you want the lovely snaffle bit. Okay, you want a snaffle bit. You do not want to start, like, again, it depends on the horse's education. If the horse is got lots of hours under the saddle, you can start straight out the gate in a double bridle, but more often than not, they need to start off in a snaffle bridle. It depends, like if you were going to a top level show rider, they were training the horse, it depends on the education and where they're sitting performance wise and where you're going, but more often than not, they will, even top show riders will start a horse off in the newcomer section of the showing world in a snaffle bridle. So that is what you need. You can buy these styles of bridles from a lot of places. Newmarket Saddlery, you can get one for around $50 or $40. They're very, very cheap in that regard of getting started. Just good little leather bridles to get started. But when you're heading off into a royal show, more often than not, you want higher quality. Like this is an almost $400 bridle. This is my White Horse Equestrian bridle that I've got my elegant brow band and accessory brow band on. So I have it covered at all times. This is Teddy's show bridle that I wore, that I ride him in at the Sydney Royal. So this is a brow band cover, very handy to help keep makeup off the brow bands when in transit and when moving around. So there's a nice snippet, a bit of a close-up. So I've had Teddy almost 10 years, and so we've achieved now the riding in a double bridle. Oh, that's hooked on there. Let's unhook that, just so we can see this. So double bridle is for more control. Is definitely for people that are experienced. If you're not experienced and you need to get your coach, you need a coach. If you don't have a riding instructor, you need someone to guide you and help you with using or upgrading, so that you don't have issues with your horse and you don't hurt them and you don't get the wrong understanding of what this is for. So these are 2 sets of reins, because you've got the snaffle bit here and then the weigh-mount bit there, and then you've got your chain to go around underneath the chin chain. So these are very important in high level showing, just to demonstrate the ability of the horse, getting them on the bit and performing with them to a high standard. So these are when you're heading off, when you're going up your levels in show riding. This is the bridle that is very handy to have, and good quality brabant. Yes, good quality brabant, but a good quality bridle is a must when you're showing. So it all depends where you're at, what you're aiming for in your showing career. It's just one of them things that you've got to spend money on good quality products, because they work to the best of their ability when you pay that high amount of money. So that's our tack. So guys, there we have it. That's what you need when you're starting off showing a horse here in Australia. You need a numna, which is either or of a full numna or a half numna. Then you need your saddle, and on your saddle you need your girth, stirrups, stirrup leathers, and the saddle, of course. You need those items to be able to ride in. Then you need a number holder. You need that big number that goes on the chest of the horse. You want that there just in case for you head off into royal shows later on. Then you need your bridle, and on your bridle you need a brow band, either be open hack or a show hunter brow band. Then you need to also make sure it's either snaffle and a snaffle bit, or if you're going to go up in your levels of showing and riding with your horse, you need to make sure you've got a double bridle with a weigh-mouth bit in it, and then you're set to go. So they are my must-have recommendations on tack when starting off showing a horse. Thank you so much, Lucia, for reaching out to me on Instagram. For anyone else, any other viewers, if you've got any questions or you'd like me to explain things with a bit more further detail, please leave that in the comment section down below, or PM me on Instagram at WSS EQUESTRIAN. Alright guys, good luck with all your show horse riding adventures. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!